Okay, good morning. Thanks all for joining us today. This is Martin Host Press Conference. We are previewing our game against Liverpool tomorrow. We have questions in the room and on the online feed today. If you're joining on the online feed, please use the raise hand function to ask questions. And we have no embargoes. We're going to kick off with questions in the room from Emily. On the mic, please.
Thank you. Morning, Martin.
Morning.
First of all, how's the squad come back from international break? Are there any new injuries that you're managing?
No, so Evelina come back with a little bit of a fractured rib, if you want to call it. She's obviously been managed over this short period. She's been in part of training. We'll train today. We'll assess her after training, and then see if she's available for the game tomorrow.
And just on Liverpool, your opponents have had a really tough start to the season, but they looked really strong against Manchester City and looked like they frustrated them at times. So how are you planning to tackle that?
Yeah, I think the position in the table and definitely the results don't show the performances they've maybe had. I think they've pulled teams really close in a lot of games. They have very clear identity and are very forward-thinking and front-footed in terms of how they want to play, and that's obviously Gareth's implementation on the squad. And so we know it's going to be a tough game. We know they're probably chomping at the bit to want to get a result, and they want to get a win, and we need to make sure that we step up, we perform, and we make sure we make it difficult for them.
We know they like to dominate possession and play out from the back, but that's left them quite vulnerable at times. Is that something we can expect you to target tomorrow?
Yeah, I think not just that area, but other areas too. I think they have a very clear identity, as I said, and I know Gareth's very strong on that, and I like that he's strong on that because he believes in what he does. So we need to make sure if opportunity presents itself in those moments when they do build out or they're in higher phases and we get opportunity to break in and have chances on goal, then we need to make sure we take them. And yeah, there's obviously areas we'll look at, but it's not just that one area, because I feel we can exploit other areas at the same time.
And obviously you guys have had a really strong start to the season. A lot of individuals are performing really well all over the pitch. But there also seems to be a real sense of togetherness within the squad. Can you feel that cohesion, and do you think that's contributed to the strong start?
Yeah, I think togetherness for me probably goes above the results, the performance. It goes above individual quality, in my opinion. I think team cohesion's key. If you get that right, I feel it can get you over the line in numerous games. It can also bring an extra level and extra bit of energy into your performances. And yeah, we've definitely showed that, I think, throughout the season so far and the games we've had in Cup and League. And we want to make sure we continue to build on that. We do work together to make sure that the players and the staff are connected. They do a lot of work as a group to make sure they're connected. So we need to make sure that we use that to our advantage. But I think it's a big part of what I want to create here and the environment I want to create. And we're starting to see the fruits of that, definitely.
And just finally from me, I was watching an interview that Matilda Wimbo did earlier this week, and she said that one of your key messages has been being brave and playing with confidence. So what does that look like in practice, and how do you instill that within the team?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think Matilda's had some setbacks along the way, and she spoke really well. I seen that interview yesterday, and I think she spoke really well. And it's something, I want the players to be brave. I want them to make brave decisions. I want them to be brave with the decisions. In terms of that's with or without the ball, we've got to be exciting and proactive with how we need to look identity-wise. And I just want to make sure the players, when we have the ball, that they are looking to play forward. They're looking to go into advanced areas, if that's with the ball, but also when they have the ball at their feet, individual players showing that 1v1 brilliance where they can go past players and make it exciting. And then off the ball, being brave to step out, defend forward, not defend backwards as much, and be a team that wants to defend on the front foot. And we're starting to see a lot of that, but that comes with confidence, belief, and the group is showing that in large spells of games now.
Thank you. That's everything from me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emily. Moving to questions on the online feed, we'll go to Rachel.
Yeah, it was good in terms of the break probably come around the right time to refresh, re-energise and reflect on the first 9 games we'd had. So it was important for me to be able to see what we'd done in not just on a results perspective, but from performance overall in terms of technically, tactically, physically, and where I need to make sure that we better the team and where I can be better as an individual, more importantly. And then trying to find ways the players can definitely enhance performance. And I think it come at the right time, and the players going to represent the country, I think, is brilliant. It's another opportunity for me to see them in a different context and a different environment, and making sure that they go away healthy and they come back healthy.
And I guess perhaps come back excited as well to get back into league football. How have you found the feeling and the mood around the camp? Is that another opportunity to kind of reinvigorate them now coming into the next block?
You know, definitely, and we know we have a really strong block of games coming up now, and my job's to make sure that everyone's now back collectively together. We continue to enhance performance, competition in the squad, competition in each position, making sure now that we really try to lift our performances and start to complete them a lot more in terms of from start to finish, and I think it's something we need to do. But there's a lot of areas we can still be better at. We're still evolving, we're still growing as a team, but I think we've got to start putting those performances together now from the first minute to the 90th.
And then just finally, I know it was touched on in the room, Liverpool managing a lot of injuries, and two big injuries as well just before the break. Does it make them maybe a little bit more unpredictable, given they are lacking a little bit of depth? So I think there might be some changes potentially when they face it this weekend.
Yeah, I think no matter when, if we play them or not, Gareth has showed he's clear on how he wants to play and his playing style, which, as I said, I respect. But I know obviously they've had some injuries and we've had some ourselves over this first period of games, and more as a coach it shows how adaptable you are and can you adapt to those situations, but it then presents opportunity for someone else to play, and Gareth will maybe be in that situation come tomorrow of picking a team that he feels is going to win the game, and we have to be ready for any of those options he puts in place. We need to be prepared and ready that we can stop that.
That's great. Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Chris?
Hi Martin, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. How about you?
Good, thank you.
Right. So you had a very good run before the international
Yep.
break. Then players go away. Does that break up the momentum you've had? And if so, how do you get that back?
I don't think it breaks up a little bit of momentum when you're on after, especially when we come off the Birmingham result. You want to continue that. You've had a clean sheet. You've scored 3 goals. You want to keep building momentum, as you said. It maybe breaks it slightly, but I think the players getting the opportunity to go and be in a different environment, a different space, I think is important, because they'll get so long where they're in the same environment for so long, and you maybe get a little bit kind of bored of being around one another, if you want to say. So it's actually good for them to refresh, good for us as staff collectively to refresh, and now go into these games making sure that we're fully focused on what the job is ahead.
All right, that's all from me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce. Chris Cowlin.
Hi Martin, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good. How was the international break for you? And I know Beth England said at the fans forum recently that you never ever switch off and you've always brought intact. Do you actually watch some of your players? Do you watch a lot of international football?
Yeah, on this one I was away on a course in Norway, so I was trying to listen to Norwegian for 5 days, which mentally is tough. But no, I was still watching the games. I watched a lot of the games. Even if I didn't watch them live, I watched them back, because I think it's important that I see the levels of performance that I would expect at club, and if they're able to replicate that in their countries, and me being able to watch them to see what they can showcase. So no, it's been a good international break. We've reflected as staff. We've refreshed in terms of players. We've still trained hard and give individual attention to those players that stay with us here, and made sure that we're ready for this game tomorrow.
The opponents, of course, tomorrow on Sunday, Liverpool. They've lost 5 out of 5 in the WSL. Have you actually been surprised in any way by Gareth Taylor's start at Liverpool?
Yeah, because I think as I said, the league position and maybe the results don't always kind of give a true reflection of actually where you are. And I think their performances have been strong, and I think it was alluded to before around the performance against Manchester City was very solid, and they were in a lead for a period of the game, and I thought they might not have had the ball, but they frustrated Manchester City a lot. But in other games too, they've had a lot of really successful chances throughout those games and opportunity, and maybe the ball hasn't fallen their way and they need something to click. And hopefully it doesn't click on the weekend for us, but more importantly, we have to make sure that we respect them and we believe in what we're doing, focus on ourselves and make sure the performance is backed up by that.
Martin, over the last couple of years, and I used to ask Robert this question quite a lot, when you look at the likes of Liverpool and West Ham, lost every single league game, and then you've got unbeaten sides such as Chelsea and Manchester United. Talking about that gap, is that gap getting bigger?
No, I don't think it's getting big. If you look at the games in isolation and you look at performances in isolation, I think the league's more competitive now. I think it gets competitive every year. If you want to look at Chelsea being unbeaten, yes, they're a wonderful team and Sonia's got a wonderful squad there, but we run them close in a 1-0 defeat. Leicester run them close. So there's been games where these games now are getting a lot tighter. They're not as widespread. And I think actually now going into every game, there's no kind of gimme, if you want to call it, where you think you can just turn up and win. Every game matters, every performance matters. And if you have a dip in form or you have a dip in performance, you're probably punished for it now. So I know that it maybe looks like that when you get to the end of the season and you look at the table. But if you look at performance in games in isolation, in my opinion, I feel that the league is a lot more competitive, and it gets competitive every year because of the level of coach, because of the level of player, because of the level of competition, the development of the players. So you're up against the best every week, and you know that there's no game you can go into thinking you're just going to win.
Can I ask you about the January transfer window?
Yep.
Have you had conversations with the club about the January window, and have you told them what you would like in that window?
Yeah, there's ongoing discussions throughout in terms of these months now to make sure that we can put a clear strategy in place, to make sure that we identify areas we want to strengthen the squad, areas that we feel we need to enhance the squad, but areas also you're happy with the squad. You can't just also look for things that you always want to bring in, and there are ongoing discussions with myself and the people around me to make sure that we identify that and we do business early. So just making sure that we assess where we are now and where we want to go and what the strategy needs to look like to get us there.
Martin, lastly from me, I just wanted to ask you about Jess Naz.
Yeah.
Now, the best goal return for her in a WSL season is 3 during the 23-24 season. Do you have conversations with players like Jess at the start of the season and give them targets, and do you expect more goals from her?
Yeah, I think Jess has showed in numerous performances. She's in good position. She's performing well. She's got quite a few assists in terms of in games, and she will set her own individual targets. I won't put that added pressure on a player. I think they individually probably quietly will have expectations and objectives for themselves, and I won't put that pressure on them from a statistic perspective. I will maybe try and just enhance performance and development from that perspective and say, how can we better in terms of your outcome and your return in these moments, with your final action, your final chance, your final shot, your final pass, and just try and find a consistency in performance. I feel when you put a number in front of someone or a statistic in front of someone you want them to hit, I feel it becomes like a burden on someone's shoulder. So I try not to do that. I try and focus on the performances, and naturally I think when you do that, the performance will start to fall, and more importantly for Jess, she will get into those positions to score and assist more often.